Since its introduction in 2018, the Charlotte Roval has produced some iconic moments in the NASCAR Cup Series world, and with the return to the Roval this weekend to end the round of 12, I thought it would be fitting to look at the top 10 moments in those past 6 years. But before we do that, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a ton here at Breaking Balls. Without further ado, let's look at the top 10 moments in the past 6 years of the Roval. Let's start number 10, the 2018 inaugural Charlotte Roval. With 7 laps to go, a late restart occurs, and Brad Keselowski leading sends it into turn 1 a little too hard. He and some of the leaders just cook it into the turn 1 wall and take themselves out of contention. The Roval is one of the few tracks that actually you're going faster into turn 1 on restarts than normal track speed. So it was just the leaders pushing the limits and finding out in this inaugural race the limit was a little too far with 6 to go, causing a massive pileup. Number 9 actually is part of this wreck. It's Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson was one of the fastest cars that day, second place on the late restart when he was collected by Keselowski, causing massive damage to the side of his car, knocking one of the wheels sideways. Larson was in the playoffs at this point and was 17 points to the good before this wreck, thinking he was safe. Now, he had to finish the race and pass one more car. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Earnhardt was spun on the front stretch right at the finish line, and Larson was able to limp this zombie car home, tagging the wall, just finishing it one spot to the good and tying his way into the next round. Quite a way to intro the Charlotte Roval into the playoffs there as a cutoff race, no less, in 2018. For number 8, the 2020 Roval race, NASCAR was able to debut rain tires at the Roval. The forecast called for rain, and yes, rain was on the track. They were able to put windshield wipers on the cars. Although fans were skeptical, it went off without a hitch, even on the banked turns at Charlotte. And with this success, NASCAR was able to add rain tires into the fold for all road course packages and later short tracks as well. Number 7, it's Alex Bowman versus Bubba Wallace in the 2019 Roval race. Alex Bowman was right behind Bubba Wallace for numerous laps, and apparently Bubba Wallace kept giving Bowman the finger. Bowman said if he gives me the bird one more time, I'm gonna dump him, and he's a man of his word. After one finger too many, Wallace got dumped on the backstretch outside the chicane into the wall by Bowman. Bowman was actually on the ground suffering from heat stroke after the race, but Bubba didn't care and splashed water in his face from his water bottle angrily before storming away. Tempers flaring at the Roval. Number 6 is my personal favorite. You may notice the last few years there's been pink window nets on the cars at the Roval race. In 2019, Kurt Busch received a letter from a young fan, Mason Bradley, who was hoping to meet the NASCAR champion one day. He also said, maybe you could do a pink window net, as Bradley's mother was battling breast cancer at the time. Well, that came true, and after a few years, the 2021 season started a tradition through every Roval race that each driver dons a pink window net, and after the race, each window net is auctioned off. All the proceeds go to breast cancer awareness funds and research. So a great initiative, thanks to Kurt Busch and of course Mason Bradley. I love the pink window nets, and it goes to a great cause as well. Number 5, let's stay in the 2021 season. You probably remember Kyle Larson's dominant run in 2021, including his championship and 9 race wins. But do you remember the turmoil he faced at the Charlotte Roval in the round of 12 cutoff race? At one point in stage 2, he was under the elimination cutoff line after he had to replace not only his alternator belt, but his battery mid-race as well. Not only did he and crew chief Cliff Daniels face adversity, but they handled it with flying colors, ending up actually in victory lane and winning the race, spearheading their way onto the 2021 championship that year. Everyone remembers that dominant season, but a lot of people don't remember the stress that was that Charlotte Roval race for Kyle Larson. Number 4, Kyle Larson's on the wrong side of this one. In 2022, you may remember that Chase Briscoe made it into the round of 8, but do you remember how? Cole Custer on the last lap set a block for teammate Chase Briscoe at Stewart-Haas Racing, where he blocked 2 drivers on the last lap chicane as Briscoe flew right by both of them and got the points he needed to not only make it into the round of 8, but eliminate reigning champion Kyle Larson as well. Who says teammates can't help out in NASCAR? Number 3, let's go with Chase Elliott in 2019. Chase Elliott was leading the race in the final stage when 45 to go on a restart. Chase Elliott cooked it headstrong into the tire barriers. On first glance, this car looks like it would be totaled and not raceable. But not only was Chase Elliott able to recover, he went on in 40 laps to drive his way through the field and impressively win the race. and also had a great celebration afterwards with the car rolled away. But just an incredible showing from the road course king back in the day. The next gen era hasn't been as kind, but Chase Elliott really showing his road course chops on this day in Charlotte. Number 2, Chase Elliott also involved 2021 Roval. You may remember the week before the drama at Bristol between Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott. Well, it boiled over to the Roval with Chase Elliott getting dumped by Kevin Harvick, almost costing the 9 car his season. Chase Elliott was able to rebound and was told on the radio, if I can get to the 4, it's over. Kevin Harvick on a later restart had Chase Elliott behind him and was mirror driving when he sent it into the wall headstrong and totaled his number 4 car, ending his playoff hopes. Chase Elliott gets the last laugh at the Roval at the expense of Kevin Harvick. Tough day for Happy at the Roval, but one of the most iconic moments as far as NASCAR beefs goes. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, the number 1 most iconic moment from the Charlotte Roval. Don't kid yourself, you knew it when you clicked on this video. It's one of the most iconic endings in NASCAR history. The 2018 inaugural Charlotte Roval race with Martin Truex Jr. leading with the white flag, Jimmy Johnson right behind him. They enter the final chicane on the front stretch, and Jimmy Johnson presses a little too hard, spins out, and takes out leader Martin Truex Jr. with him. Ryan Blaney coasts to the checkered flag from 3rd place on in the lucky dog spot there. And one of the most iconic endings in NASCAR history was set. I went back to verify, this is actually the last race Jimmy Johnson was in the playoffs for. What a way to go out there. Most people don't even realize that 7-time went out that way, taking out Truex. Obviously, Truex was not happy about it. Just one of the most iconic endings, though. It just had to be that moment. But if you like what you saw, like this video, make sure you're subscribed to Breaking Balls. I'll keep you in the loop for all things NASCAR in the garage, on the track. And if you've made it this far, again, thank you so much. I'll keep you in the loop for the Charlotte Roval this weekend, the round of 12 cutoff race, and all things NASCAR moving forward. Again, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.